Joe Duffy, CEO of OffshoreInsiders.com with our NFL betting secrets. But here's how we do research our games in the NFL, your betting secrets in the NFL. Let's say the Philadelphia Eagles are playing the Dallas Cowboys, as they are this weekend when we file this report, although this is certainly evergreen and will most likely apply 5 years from now, 10 years from now, although there will be other options, I'm sure. We simply go to Google News, which is news.google.com. We enter the two teams' names, in this case the Eagles and the Cowboys. And sorry about my suburban Philadelphia accent if I did say IGGLES. And there you go. You have all the online newspapers with news and notes for that game. We go through them all, Evelyn Wood style. We cut and paste, put it on our clipboard. I mean, you might have a certain formula that works a little bit better for you. The best previews out there that are really written from the standpoint of the gambler, Sports Network, where I actually got my start in the business with their sister company, Dial Sports, but their game previews, which aren't actually up for this week. We do it early in the week, but certainly I think usually by Thursday they have their previews up on each game, and they really have good stuff from a gambling standpoint. Now, all the major sports sites have pretty good blogs. This is the Sports Illustrated, the old CNN SI. Fox Sports also has some half-decent stuff. The NFL's own website, don't tell them that, but the NFL website is a good source for gamblers, for various news and notes, injuries, etc. Still, at the end of the day, our absolute favorite, that four-letter evil empire, the NFL Nation at ESPN is our favorite. And then, of course, Pro Football Talk. We've been fans of that from the beginning. They also have some very good information. But if I had to rank them, I'd say Google News, where you can go to the hometown newspapers, and then the ESPN blog would be our second source. But I'm talking, obviously, specifically just when it comes to the news and notes. There's a whole lot more, though, involved in winning in the NFL. Statistical analysis, our favorite website there is Fox Sheets, which is the premium for StatFox. What we look at is the yards per rush, yards per pass, or yards per passing attempt, and yards per play. But most importantly, what I like about them that separates them from the other ones is relative to what their opponents normally allow. So it's kind of a strength of schedule based on the offensive and defensive units against the rush, against the pass, and against the play. And they compare those offensively and defensively. See, here's basically what this says is the Cowboys' defense is subpar versus the rush. They're giving up 4.4 yards per rush to teams that are normally getting only 4, and they're also subpar in passing yards and obviously in yards per play, but they're above average on offense. So it takes some getting used to, but it's very good for the sharp player. We like the covers. What we like mostly about the covers breakdowns is you can compare the net yardage compared to the regular straight-up record when you can see if a team is outplaying or underperforming their statistics. And we look at both the yards per play and the total yards in that game and compare it to the win-loss record. So, for example, if a team is getting outstatted but winning games, that means that they have a downside. Where conversely, if they're winning games or if they're losing games in which they are outstatting their opponent, they are generally the teams with the biggest upside. You hear a lot of handicappers. For years, we called it margin of cover. I know now some of the newer guys prefer to call it a sweat barometer, whatever you call it. We like it more for corroborating evidence, but this tells you how much a team is covering by. These flat-out ATS records can be very deceptive, but this tells you if the odds makers are really well ahead or well behind a team. If a team is covering or failing to cover by large margins, that generally tells us that the odds makers are either well behind this team, they're overrating them or underrating them, and you can tell that by if you see a lot of plus signs and double digits or a lot of minus signs and near double digits in the same column. So that tells you how much they are failing to cover or covering the spread by. Now, travel analysis, the simplest thing to do is just put the two cities in Google, Philadelphia to Dallas distance. We must admit that we do use the team rankings when it comes to college football and college basketball because, quite frankly, I don't have memorized the exact city that every single college is in, especially the smaller colleges, but there's where Team Rankings has a pretty good cheat sheet that helps us out there. But in the NFL, just go straight to Google and ask the distance between the two cities. Now, we've actually de-emphasized systems, and we're going more to old-fashioned handicapping, and that's obviously paid off for all of us. But some of our better sites still, though, for system plays would be the aforementioned Fox Sheets. Also, Killer Sports has a very good one. Take some learning how to use, but they're very good. And then Spreadopedia, another very good site as far as creating your own systems and storing them. But again, we found out that that's really should be corroborating data and not so much your leading data. And we found out really the same thing about that margin of cover or sweat barometer statistic. But they are both very good as far as supporting data, but beware of overusing angles and systems as well as the sweat barometer. That factors now about, I would say, about 10% into our handicapping. At the end of the day, still the best place in the world is just go to offshoreinsiders.com, get the best premium picks using all those key metrics and others. Make sure you go to the left-hand rail, subscribe to all our social media feeds, such as our Twitter feed. We're on Pinterest, Rebel Mouse, SlideShare. You want to subscribe to our YouTube videos at www.youtube.com/offshoreinsiders. We're available on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Dar.fm. You can subscribe to our podcast as well, but our podcasts are actually sent on our Twitter feed. Subscribe to our Twitter feed, and you're going to get the best of everything in sports betting. But go to www.offshoreinsiders.com.